From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings.
Good evening. In Saudi Arabia tonight on the desert airstrips which America helped to build, American aircraft carrying the men and supplies you need for war are landing one right after the other. One U.S. military commander there said that Saudi Arabians are surprised at the speed and size of the U.S. response to Saudi safety. U.S. aircraft flying from land and from the sea are widening their protective umbrella over much of the Persian Gulf. The British and Australians said today that their warships will join the effort to militarily enforce sanctions against Iraq. As of today, the Bush administration believes that nothing will move to or from Iraq by sea without the U.S. knowing about it and stopping it if the U.S. chooses. Here's ABC's David Ensor.
U.S. and other warships will be trying to stop virtually all Iraqi trade, from oil exports to food imports. They are watching shipping from ports in the Red Sea, the Gulf, and the Mediterranean. Their first source of intelligence on which ships to stop is Lloyd's of London, a British maritime insurance company which tracks all shipping using computers. That, combined with satellite imagery, carrier-based S-3 Vikings, and land-based P-3 Orions, mean very little should get in or out of Iraq or Kuwait without the Navy knowing.
I think we have the equipment, and I think we have the international legal standing in the community to conduct this operation with great efficiency. There should be very few ships that slip through the net.
The American ships on patrol each carry this handbook, telling them how to stop and search merchant vessels under international law. For the moment, if a ship refuses to stop, officials in Washington would have to authorize the use of force. That could be a shot across the bow, or even disabling fire to knock out a ship's propellers. Bush administration officials are avoiding the word blockade, saying instead that the ships are there to interdict Iraqi trade.
Blockade under international law has connotations of war. We are not at war with Iraq. We don't want to send that signal to them so that they ratchet up the escalation.
At the United Nations today, there was some grumbling among the allies that the U.S. may be going too far, too fast. But American officials are hoping the threat of force will be enough. Already, they say, some ships carrying cargo for Iraq have turned around. David Ensor, ABC News, Washington.
And the Saudis are doing their part. An Iraqi tanker hoping to pick up 900,000 barrels of oil at the Saudi Arabian port of Yanbu in the Red Sea. The end of the Iraqi pipeline turned away empty last night. The Saudis would not send tugboats to escort the Iraqi ship into port. There is one way to move goods into Iraq that does not involve running a naval blockade over land across Jordan. It was an important lifeline for Iraq during 8 years of war with Iran. As ABC's John Donovan reports, the Jordanian road to Baghdad is still open.
The port of Aqaba, Jordan's only door to the open sea, and a back door for Iraq. Iraqi ships have anchored here for years, unloading goods destined for Baghdad over Jordanian roads. Today, this route to Iraq remains open. 1,000 miles that proved crucial to feeding Baghdad's military machine in the Iran-Iraq war. Now perhaps one crack in the effort to break Saddam Hussein. Jordanian officials insist they are not keeping that route open in order to support Saddam. They say that they back the sanctions against Baghdad, but cannot afford to join them. Jordan's economy survives by exporting, trucking out minerals, food, manufactured goods. A quarter of that crosses the border into Iraq. Business Jordanians say they need to survive.
Losing the Iraqi market means 13 percentage points of unemployment in Jordan.
That would be on top of 20% unemployment already in an economy in severe recession. Jordan plans to present those facts to the United Nations, arguing that Jordan's case parallels that of black African states that violate a UN boycott by trading with South Africa, because their economies are so dependent on that trade. But Jordan remains more pro-Saddam than most nations, in government offices as well as at street level. And many will see its position on the boycott as a play for the middle, a way to stay friends with the West while still keeping the door open to Saddam. John Donovan, ABC News, Amman.
ABC's Ted Koppel is in Jordan, from where Nightline will originate tonight. He has been talking to a frustrated king. Ted, you've had lengthy talks with King Hussein. What does he say about letting the Iraqis use the port of Aqaba and allowing truck traffic across the country to Baghdad?
Well, I must tell you, Peter, we spent about 3.5 hours together last night, and that subject did not come up, but I have the very strong impression from his public statements that he wants to leave the impression that he's going to leave that road from Aqaba to Baghdad open.
You have heard it said, I'm sure, that the king is so under Iraqis' influence, either for economic or quasi-military reasons, that he doesn't have much choice. Did you raise this with him?
I did, and I think he rejects that. I mean, he is, as you know him better than I do, an enormously proud man, and I don't think he would put it in terms of being under Iraqi influence. After all, as you also know, he's received a great deal of money from some of the Gulf states, including Saudi Arabia.
Ted, because King Hussein has given Palestinians refuge down through the years, the majority of his kingdom's population is now not only Palestinian, but young. Do you think they've got him under particular pressure?
I think they certainly are pressuring him, and I think when he speaks publicly to keeping open the supply line between the Gulf of Aqaba and Baghdad, it is to that particular audience that he is playing here.
In a phrase, did the king say to you how he thought this situation would resolve itself?
He's extremely gloomy at this time. I think he is actively trying still to be a mediator. I think he also recognizes it's not working very well. And at the moment, he's extremely pessimistic and thinks that there could be a massive explosion out here.
Ted Koppel in Amman. Thanks, Ted. The State Department has revised the number of Americans it believes are still in Kuwait. Now it says about 2,500 instead of the 3,000 it had estimated last week. A great many of them are teenagers or even younger children of American workers visiting for the school vacation. Another 500 to 600 Americans are still in Iraq. For the most part, Iraq has refused to grant permission for them to leave, although some have managed to get out on their own. In a moment, on board the aircraft carrier, the Independence.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, brought to you by Buick.